Goofballs, a podcast about football where every week we get together. We talk football about serious and goof around about every ball else. This week's no exception. Johnny Schwartzbein, Eagles fan. Any thoughts? Who's the Eagles playing this week? Do you have any thoughts on guessing who the Eagles are playing this week?
Yes, I know who the Eagles are playing this week. They're playing the WFT, the Washington football team.
Hey, that's all right. So you're playing a football team. That's got to feel some sort of optimism.
Oh, yeah, because they suck. They suck and we're not bad.
How about pessimism?
Our offensive line is already injured. We have a ton of injury-prone and rookie receivers. Miles Sanders might not be who everyone hopes he is. We just cut our fifth corner and then re-signed him for practice squad reasons. I don't know. So if nothing goes right, the Eagles will be the worst team in the league.
There you go. But also just maybe the week one, just losing to a football team seems like someone's going to do it.
Yeah, losing to the worst team in your division week one is not a good look. If Carson Wentz ends the game healthy, I'll be happy.
Speaking of Carson Wentz, how about I Wentz from Johnny to our other co-host, Andrew Grace. You're an attorney. You're a general. You are an attorney general. Any thoughts this week on the law or on the Giants?
Monday Night Football, starting out the season on Monday night against the Steelers. I'm pretty pumped about the season. I just did a fantasy draft tonight, and it's just, juices are flowing again. I don't know. I'm pumped. But I'm pumped to talk some football tonight.
Tell me about this draft. Your first pick, your second pick.
I had the first overall pick this year, and I had a really tough choice between Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
and it was a tough one, and I should have. I don't know what I should have done, but I know what I did, and I picked Christian McCaffrey because I thought maybe a little bit more of a dual threat out of the backfield, get some more points here or there.
I think that's the correct move.
Yeah, but it was a tough call.
It seems like it feels that way. And speaking of tough calls, it was not difficult at all for me to call up our next guest and ask him to be a part of the show as he was in the past and is again today. So welcome back, Jonathan Harris, Eagles fan.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming back. Do you have anything you want to add to Johnny's optimism and pessimism?
It feels like we start off against Washington every year. I mean, I know we did last year. It was awful for a half, and then they kind of figured it out. And then Deshaun Jackson caught 2 50-plus yard touchdowns in the second half, and then immediately got injured. So this is really – I think this is week 2 of the 2019 season. We're really about to see maybe what those vertical threat Eagles could have been. But as Johnny said, there's offensive line problems, our new rookie receivers injured. So, getting the injury ball rolling early this year.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about just in terms of the Eagles, do you feel like the Eagles have the worst injury luck? I feel like the Chargers are a team that constantly comes up with bad injuries. Do you feel like Eagles are high up there?
Yeah, it's the last 3 years has certainly felt that way. At a certain point, you have to ask, what's going on in that medical staff? What's happening? Because last year it was the secondary. The year before it was the receivers, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the year before it was the big Carson Wentz injury that ended up not mattering that much, or maybe mattering in that it got Nick Foles in there for magic or whatever. We
won the Super Bowl that year.
Yes. So yeah, we won the Super Bowl that year. But
yeah, excuse me, the big game. We're supposed to call it the big game.
Right. Yeah, we won the big game.
Big game at the end.
But at any rate, the last 2 years, it feels like, the Eagles are poised to still be really good, but then just injuries decimated everything. So hoping for a slightly different outcome. Although, yeah, what happens? What if a team has just like 4 or 5, 6 years of terrible injury luck? At some point, don't you fire the whole medical staff and start over, or is it just bad luck?
I think it's a bad look to fire any medical staff in the middle of a pandemic.
Well,
I don't know.
Bring in Fauci, you know.
Yeah, Anthony Fauci is the new head of medical at the.
I trust. Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm one of those idiots with like, Fauci 2020. Let's make him president.
Maybe it's the Phillies fan in me, but I don't want a fucking Eagles team doctor that wears a Washington Nationals mask.
Yeah, but anyway, I feel good. I feel good about this weekend, as I usually do, going into Week 1 against the Washington football team.
Yeah,
Johnny, if the Eagles hired Fauci, do you think that they could make a movie called Invaccinable?
I mean, they could, but it would probably just be some big hoax.
Okay.
Invaccinable.
Yeah, I thought, there's a V in there, there's a C in there.
Invincible and
that's true.
unvaccinable.
Thank you.
You're really throwing that one deep into double coverage there, Kenny.
Hey, if it worked for Jameis Winston. Jameis, that was the worst I've ever said.
Hey, Andrew Grace, if the coronavirus vaccine comes out while Trump's president, are you going to trust it? Oh no!
Honestly, no. I don't fucking trust anything that guy does. But if the independent board is like, whatever the people who are independent, I trust Fauci. I trust Fauci.
Who's your favorite conservative judge that Trump has appointed?
I don't have any. I don't know.
Where do you begin?
I don't like any of them, dude. Dude, you try to twist me down to be a pro-Trump person?
More like Neil Gorse sucks. Fucking took that asshole down a peg.
I think I'm waiting for the phase 3 trials to be complete as well. I think I'll just wait until they finish those and they say, yep, that's good. But
when they released the date, when they said when the Trump, because I listened to an interview on NPR, and because the Trump administration said they'll have it ready by November 1st, and they interviewed the person who's the chief researcher and head of the whole vaccine push, and he was like, yeah, no, we're not gonna have he's like, yeah, there's a chance, but it's not gonna be ready November 1st, basically.
And
all the pharmaceutical
thus concludes Corona time. Back to you, Kenneth.
Speaking of concluding Corona time, let's begin another time, and that time is this is going to be Tournament of Coaches.
Ooh.
Except, Jonathan, in previous episodes, we've done a tournament of running backs. We've done a tournament of quarterbacks. And we're just basically going division by division in a bracket format, whittling it down to the winner of this tournament as the person that you would, in these previous instances, the person that you would most want to have at that position going into the 2020 season. However, in Tournament of Coaches, we're going to say the coach that you would least like to have going into the 2020 season to find out who's at the bottom of the Tournament of Coaches.
A reverse tournament.
Reversement.
A reversement.
That's it. Any questions about this?
You're gonna give me 4 coaches, and I'll say which one I think is the worst.
We're going
division to division.
We're basically
just gonna go. I'll list out the 4 coaches. This first round, it's really got to be a lightning round. So without any commentary, unless it's a really tough decision, which some of these may be, then by all means voice your thoughts. But if it's an easy decision, let's just get the name and move on to the next one.
Yes, chef.
Yeah. Oh, do you require a yes chef after all instructions? I don't know if this has
Yes.
changed since last time. There's a yes chef involved.
I grew up watching football in France. I'm going to say oui chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, chef or we chef or buongiorno. So then that's it. We know how to play this game. And when we'll have more time as we get into the later rounds, but let's begin. Let's begin tournament of coaches, reversement of coaches, beginning with the AFC East. You've got Brian Flores of the Miami Dolphins. You've got Adam Gase of the New York Jets. You've got Bill Belichick of the Patriots, and you've got Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills. So you're going into this season with whatever team you've got. Which of these coaches would you least like? Let's start with Jonathan.
Adam Gase.
Johnny?
They should have Frank Gore coaching the Jets. Adam Gase is the worst coach.
Andrew Grace?
Oh man, let me think about this, because like if you go back to the history of just fucking around, Adam Gase.
All right, I will say Adam Gase as well. He finishes on the bottom of the AFC East, and he moves on. And then going on to the AFC North, Kevin Stefanski, first-year coach of the Cleveland Browns, John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens, Zach Taylor going into his second year with the Cincinnati Bengals, and Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. Probably got two choices here, but let's start with Johnny.
Stefanski sounds too Polish for me. I'll pick him.
Reasoning. Andrew.
Who's that coach of the Browns? Because whoever that is.
Stefanski. That's two for Stefanski. You know, it's nothing against the guy, but maybe he's got the, you know, he could very well be better than Zach Taylor, who had the worst record in the NFL last season and could get fired this year. So I will say Zach Taylor. So I'm going to leave it up to you, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm very unfamiliar with both of those guys, but I think I'm pretty sure Zach Taylor's younger than me, way broier than me. He coaches the Cincinnati Bengals, so I think I'm going to go with Zach Taylor.
You're going to go with Zach Taylor, so that's a tie between Taylor and Stefanski. Johnny, how did we break ties?
I think in tournaments we go alphabetical order. Whoever's number one moves on, but since this is the reversement, perhaps it should be the lowest alphabetical moves on. So okay. I guess that would mean Zach Taylor.
Okay, great. So Zach Taylor, you are moving on. Congratulations.
Do you want me to notify him?
Yeah, well, if you could.
I just want to let him know congratulations. I can let Zach Taylor know that.
DM him, maybe.
Yeah, at him on Twitter.
At ZTax. You're out of here.
I'm doing all these head coaches by memories. I'm very fearful that I'm going to get something wrong here. I got Frank Reich. Frank Reich of the Baltimore Colts. I've got Mike Vrabel of the Houston Oilers. Bill O'Brien of the Houston Texans, and Doug Marrone, or Maroney maybe, of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This starts with Andrew.
I think Bill O'Brien. I don't know. I think he's on his way out.
That sounds very fair. I just think that in this division you can do even worse. I'm going to go with Doug Marrone. Let's go to Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Okay.
Jonathan. Bill O'Brien, I think is not a good coach. I think GM Bill O'Brien sabotages Coach Bill O'Brien and vice versa. And he's got a really good running back in Duke Johnson, and he's going to ignore him in favor of David Johnson. So Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien with 2 votes now. Johnny, you can make the deciding vote or lock us up or do something else.
Yeah, I can't blame Bill O'Brien for the GM. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I do think Mike Vrabel has a lot of undiagnosed CTE. So I'm going to say that his brain is going to pop like a balloon eventually soon. And I'm going to say Mike Vrabel.
Jeez Louise.
And Andrew says, geez Louise, Bill O'Brien moves on in the tournament of coaches. AFC West, we've got Anthony Lynn of the LA Chargers. We've got Vic Fangio of the Denver Broncos, Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs, and John Gruden of the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm the first to go, and I am going to say Vic Fangio of the Denver Broncos. Jonathan.
John Gruden, you got to get rid of this guy, man. He can't do anything. He can't coach. He can't put in a wide receiver group. He can't sit in the quarterback room. You got to get this guy out of here.
John Gruden votes for John Gruden. Johnny Schwartzbein.
I thought you were high on the Broncos. Do you not like Fangio?
Moving on.
I don't like Gruden at all. I think the Raiders will be good despite him.
Gruden, despite him, yes. Okay, Andrew.
Gruden. I don't know. I like him in the commercials, but
That's
John
a good
Gruden.
point.
Moving on in the tournament of coaches. Jonathan Harris, please let him know. Moving on to the NFC East. Some personal feelings here, perhaps. You got Doug Peterson of the Philadelphia Eagles. Ron Rivera, the new coach of the Washington football team. Joe Judge, the new coach of the New York Giants. And Mike McCarthy, the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And this round starts with Jonathan Harris.
Mike McCarthy.
Johnny Schwartzbein.
Joe Judge. Can't say that fast enough.
Andrew Grace.
Mike McCarthy.
So, yeah, this could go a number of ways. I'm going to say Mike McCarthy as well, actually. So that is 3 votes for Mike McCarthy. You're moving on in the tournament of coaches. NFC North, we've got Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers, Mike Zimmer of the Minnesota Vikings, Matt Patricia of the Detroit Lions, and Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears. Didn't realize that there were all those Matts.
Is that three Matts?
3 Matts. It's like
Wow.
the quarterbacks in the NFC are on the Falcons. Johnny Schwartzbein.
Matt Patricia sucks.
Andrew Grace.
Matt Patricia.
Kenneth Arthur. I'm going to go with Matt Nagy. I think that he has proven even less.
Yeah, he's
Jonathan?
bad too.
Yeah.
That is real tough. I think the double doink broke Matt Nagy's brain, and I don't think he's recovered. I'm gonna go with Matt Patricia though.
Yeah, Matt Nagy.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a surprise. You had me. You had a double doink there, I think, because I thought you were going the other way.
Matt
So that
Nagy
means
with
that
a premature Mike Vrabel brain. Call it
Matt
Vrabel brain.
Patricia moves on. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons, Dan Quinn. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians, Carolina Panthers, Matt Rule, and Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints, starting with Andrew Grace.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bruce Arians. He's got a weird vibe.
Bruce Arians and his weird vibe. I'm betting it's tough. I'm going with. I'm just curious about Matt Rule. I'm less curious about Dan Quinn, so I'm going to go with Dan Quinn. Jonathan Harris.
I think I'm with you, Kenneth. I think I'm going to go Dan Quinn.
That's 2 Dan Quinns. Johnny Schwartzbein.
The only person who's in the same stratosphere of shouldn't have a job more than Adam Gase is Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, you are moving on in the tournament of coaches. Finally, the NFC West. We've got Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury of the Arizona Cardinals, Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers, and Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks. I don't necessarily think that he's proven to be a bad coach, but he can't stand with these other coaches. Cliff Kingsbury. Jonathan?
Yeah, gotta go Pete Carroll. I think he's wasting the best years of Russell Wilson's career.
Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Not a big fan of the guy.
Wow.
I think they'd be a perennial contender, like more so without Pete Carroll.
The guy who wrote the foreword to the inner game of tennis? Come on, man.
Johnny Schwartzbein.
Yeah, you can't score 3 points in a Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm going to say Sean McVay because that offense scoring 3 points, he should have been fired after getting to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Also,
Andrew,
these are good coaches. These are good coaches. No one's going to lose again.
Surprising too is this division. Anyway, first I'll say, Andrew, who would you like? Because you could tie it all up, or you could.
Yeah, I'm going with Sean McVay. I think he was super hot off the start. Everyone wanted to hire anyone who had ever, shook his hand, but I think he's been figured out.
Yeah, no one I like less than someone who's been universally labeled as a wunderkind. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You young piece of shit. Fuck you.
Well, that's like the same as John Gruden. He giving you the Gruden vote earlier, and he comes back as an older wonder kid. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't realize, every team in the NFC West, except for so far the Arizona Cardinals, has a quarterback head coach that's gone to a Super Bowl. Like every single team, it's like they've had a quarterback and a head coach who've gone to a Super Bowl together. The Seahawks are the only one to win a Super Bowl together. And obviously Kyler Murray, number one pick, could be a Super Bowl quarterback. It's quite a division there. But Sean McVay, you're moving on in the tournament of coaches. And Andrew had his surprise of the episode when Jonathan Harris voted for Pete Carroll,
and Shanahan gets out unscathed despite a couple of 2 straight years of screwing up in the postseason, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, you could look at Shanahan's 4 years. The last 4 years for Shanahan,
not consecutive, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's like he's got the loss in the Super Bowl for the Falcons. Then he's got a terrible 2 seasons with the 49ers. And then he had the 3rd season where they did go to the Super Bowl, but then fell apart in the 4th quarter again.
Yeah, he made some real bonehead calls in that. But I'm sticking to my shocker pick. I'm not switching.
Understandable. A lot of Seahawks fans and some who will listen to this agree with you. But I tend to think that Pete Carroll's doing all right. So
Super Bowl winning coach. But so is Mike McCarthy, and we put him through a couple rounds ago.
Oh, yeah. No, it'll be interesting.
I'm voting Joe Judge.
You voted Joe Judge. So this time we will go through it again. It's just bracket style. So coming out was Adam Gase versus Zach Taylor. Starting with Jonathan Harris, Adam Gase or Zach Taylor, who would you like to move on?
Adam Gase.
Johnny Schwartzbein.
My number 1 seed, Adam Gase.
Andrew Grace.
I don't even know, but this Adam Gase guy sounds like a real asshole.
Adam Gase, you're moving on in the tournament of coaches again. In the AFC South, we had Bill O'Brien, and in the AFC West, we had John Gruden. Johnny Schwartzbein.
This is tough. Tough matchup. This is almost a push. I'll say Bill O'Brien because I like him less as a person.
Reason.
Yeah.
Andrew Grace.
Bill O'Brien.
B.O.B. sounds fair to me. Jonathan Harris.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to do my Gruden again, it's Bill O'Brien.
So 2 clean sweeps in the AFC to set up an AFC championship of the ages. And moving on into the NFC, we had Mike McCarthy dominated the NFC East pretty well. And a lot of Matts in the NFC North. The one who is the worst is Matt Patricia. So let's start with Andrew Grace. Matt Patricia or Mike McCarthy?
Matt Patricia. He's my favorite to win a championship.
Yeah, I'm already uncertain about my Mike McCarthy vote. I'm going to go with Matt Patricia. Jonathan Harris.
Oh, yeah, Matt Patricia.
Matt
as much
Patricia.
as I hate the fucking Cowboys, it's Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
Johnny?
Matt Patricia is a fat, slob-looking loser. He loses games and he's ugly.
And let's move games.
Oh, we're
and
not ranking by how hot they are? I thought we were ranking by the relative attractiveness of the
It
coach.
is hot or not.
So you've been voting for.
I've been voting
Matt
for
Patricia.
who I've thought is the most attractive, and clearly Matt Patricia's more attractive than Mike
You
McCarthy.
want a three-way with Adam Gase and Bill O'Brien?
Well, Adam Gase will bring whatever he was on in that press conference.
Coke.
It's just straight up Coke. I don't know. What
Was it
drugs
Coke or
make-
was it painkiller?
Whatever it is that made his
painkiller.
eyes do that thing, but maybe it's Coke.
Speaking of Coke, Atlanta, Georgia, home of Coca-Cola, we had Dan Quinn coming out of the NFC South, and we had Sean McVay. These are two of the last four Super Bowl coaches in the NFC, and they're facing off to go into the NFC Championship here right now. And I'm going to be the first one to vote, and I'm going to go with Dan Quinn over Sean McVay. Jonathan Harris.
Dan Quinn.
Johnny Schwartzbein.
Dan Quinn.
Andrew Grace.
Dan Quinn.
That's 4 sweeps. Everybody was pretty certain on who to move on. This sets up 2 extraordinary matchups that is going to be fantastic to look and watch and to listen to. Let's start with Adam Gase, the loser of the Jets, versus Bill O'Brien, who has worn out his welcome year after year and done terrible move after terrible move and just hadn't gotten good votes of confidence. Neither of these guys get good votes of confidence from their former players. Jonathan Harris.
This is brutal because I really don't like Bill O'Brien, but I think at least he fields a decent team sometimes. So I got to go with Adam Gase.
Yeah. Johnny Schwartzbein.
Yeah, the GMs have fucked both of these teams' rosters into oblivion, except Bill O'Brien has Deshaun Watson, but then he got rid of his best receiver. It's mind-boggling, and I was like, maybe
let me just tell you that, and I believe that this is what Jonathan was alluding to earlier. The Texans fired their GM in 2019 and never hired anybody to replace him, I think.
Yeah, it's basically Bill O'Brien.
Oh,
Right?
so
basically
he's
Bill
doing
O'Brien.
it?
He's doing it.
Oh. Well,
That's
that
why
sucks.
it's so tough, yeah. Because he
well,
sucks.
Fuck.
He traded DeAndre Hopkins. He's doing all this.
Oh, man. Poor guy. He has to do double duty. I mean, Adam Gase only has one thing to do, and he's fucking that up.
I don't really think that's true either, Johnny. I believe the Jets fired their GM.
He's doing a GM, too?
Mike McCognon last year, and it's basically Adam Gase. They're both
they're both the worst. Who's uglier? New York, Houston, both have shit weather, but at least it doesn't snow as much in Houston. Adam
Johnny,
Gase,
have you looked outside at our weather recently?
I havenent left my apartment in 5 months.
It's just bright orange outside all day.
Gase rhymes with vase.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Adam Gase. At least
All
he
right,
doesn't
Adam.
pronounce it gauze like Voss.
Adam Gase is no Frank Gore, that's for sure. Andrew Grace, give us more. Who would you like?
Just look, Adam Gase, the guy may not be the best coach, but he knows how to have a good time, whether it's perks or Coke, I'm not going to fault anyone.
He's just hanging out at the top penthouse of the Fontainebleau.
Yeah, that's my kind of dude. Fontainebleau, Wild Night kind of dude. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. So this means it's up to me, and it's very difficult because both of these. I think I've spent more time thinking that Bill O'Brien should probably be let go and that the organization should go another direction than I have with Adam Gase, and I think there was a time that I thought Adam Gase was going to be pretty good, but also the Jets how do they continue to get worse and worse? I don't know. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna have Adam Gase as my vote. So that gives that puts Adam Gase into the Tournament of Coaches Super Bowl, and then moving on to the NFC. We had Dan Quinn and Matt Patricia, right? Am I right about that, right? So starting with Johnny Swartzbein, we've got Dan Quinn or Matt Patricia.
What a battle of just titanic piles of shit. So you got one guy who's an incompetent choke artist, and you got another fatty slob loser. But there's one person that at least looks prepared, and that's Matt Patricia with a pencil behind his ear. At least it looks like he's up to something. So I'm going to go Dan Quinn. That Super Bowl ruined his life.
That Super Bowl ruined his life. Andrew?
Matt Patricia.
Okay. yeah, no, to the point. I appreciate it. I think the Atlanta Falcons could actually be kind of good this year, and I think that Dan Quinn and the organization has proven more. Obviously, I mean, this is not even a competition in terms of who's proven more, and there's no reason to have a ton of faith in a Bill Belichick disciple. They haven't proven much, so I'm definitely going to go with Matt Patricia. Jonathan Harris.
Well, this is tough because Q comes after P in the alphabet. So if I go with Dan Quinn for the tie, he's moving on. So I really do get to choose here.
Okay.
I don't want to take too long doing this, but this is legitimately a tough decision to make.
3 minutes and 55 seconds.
I think Detroit. I can't. It's Matt Patricia. I was going to come up with an excuse for him, but it's Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia and Adam Gase. Matt Patricia moves on, just to set it up, and then we will take a quick break and come back and set up our Super Bowl. Matt Patricia is going into his third season as the Lions head coach. He went 6-10 in his first season, 3-12-1 last season as the Detroit Lions finished 18th in scoring, 26th in scoring defense. They were 32nd in passing yards allowed, even though he was, a defensive coordinator for the Patriots for a long time. And they signed players like Justin Coleman and Trey Flowers and had Darius Slay and A'Shawn Robinson and Damon Harrison. So some people would say they had a talented defense, but it was one of the worst in the NFL. Adam Gase, well known for the Peyton Manning Broncos in 2013. But, Peyton Manning had something to do with that. And every other stop has been pretty unexceptional. He went 10-6 in his first season as the Dolphins head coach and actually made the playoffs in 2016. Then went 6-10, 7-9, 7-9. He was fired by the Miami Dolphins, immediately picked up by the New York Jets and went 7-9. The New York Jets last season with Sam Darnold, 31st in scoring, even though Adam Gase was known as an offensive guy. They were 31st in scoring, 32nd in total yards, 29th in passing yards, 31st in rushing yards, 32nd in yards per carry, even though they had signed Le'Veon Bell to a big free agent contract and had worked to rework their offensive line and this and that. So even what these guys are known for was actually their biggest weakness so far in their rather short careers. Adam Gase has experienced a little bit of success. Matt Patricia has won several Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. And that'll be our finale of the Tournament of Coaches when we come back right after a quick break.